Mr. Koshin and Miss Napier, if you could come up as well. Come on up and line up here and turn around and face the crowd, because they're all here to see you tonight. Okay, this is our preschool program. They are doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and they are also part of our True Blue Moment this evening. And I'd like to introduce, first off, the staff that we have here tonight. We have Kathy Miller, Nicole Spradke, Heidi Napier, Rhonda LaGroy, Trudy Rapier. Did I say that right, Trudy? Close. Okay. Dave Koshin. We also have a guest pledger, Hannah Spratke. Give a little wave, Hannah, so they know who the guest is, okay? And then we have our preschoolers. And we have with us tonight Chase Coleman, Baron Maxinowski, Luke Cunningham, Beckett Crampton, Braden Ricks, Ava Van Sledwright, and Morgan Starnes. So we are so lucky and so glad that you guys could come out and do our pledge for us tonight. And at this time, if I can ask you guys to turn around and everyone else to please rise. Whenever you guys are ready, we're ready.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Turn around so everybody can see you. Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. Okay. Next is our mission statement, Chris.
Okay, at Richmond Community Schools, we provide a quality education that empowers students to be successful in a global community. I'll go ahead and do roll call. Dan is absent with notice. Sarah? Here. Tracy? Kyle?
Here.
Margaret? Here. I am here. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Before we get started with the meeting, I just have two things I'd like to share. First off, I want to let people know, if you have not heard, that Mr. Dick Foster passed away yesterday. Mr. Foster and his family have been huge contributors and supporters of Richmond Community Schools, students and athletes, and we have been very, very fortunate to have him care about our kids the way he has over the years. So if we could keep Mr. Foster and his family in our prayers in the next few days, that would be wonderful. And also, Dan Hill, this is his last meeting tonight, but unfortunately he got called out to work, so he's not with us for his very last meeting. So it enables me to be able to say some things about him, because he told me that I absolutely could say nothing, but since he's not here, that doesn't matter. We are very grateful for Dan and for the work that he did with us the time that he was here. Dan came at things in a different way than some of us did, and he was just a real good team player. He's a good man. He believes in our school district, and we will miss him. And we hope that in a couple of years or so, he might think about coming back and joining us when the kids are a little bit older and maybe a little, I don't know if I want to say things go easier for him with 4 kids, but as his kids get older, if he can come back to give his time to the school district, we would all appreciate it. So we just wanted to thank Dan for his years with Richmond School Board. Okay, next is approval of an agenda. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is approval of the consent agenda items. Looking for a motion?
Second.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Brian, you have anything?
We
Are
have
these
no,
separate?
we
retirees other than the one that you've already accepted, and we're going to recognize a little later.
Okay.
And on the new hires, I do not have any of them here. I don't think I have anybody here. Let me just double check here. I don't see any of the new hires. Renee I'm sorry, I didn't see you back there, I'm sorry. Renee Cunnings is our new Title I paraprofessional at Lee Elementary School. I apologize, Renee.
Wave to us so we see you.
the back.
Welcome.
And there were no questions regarding the claims and accounts that I received.
Okay. Okay, it has been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is our True Blue moment. It's the portion of our meeting where we take to honor and recognize great things that are happening within our district, whether it be staff or students. And this evening, we have three. We have retirement, and we also are honoring our students who won the artwork competition to have their artwork displayed on our district holiday cards. And we also will be showcasing our Early Learning Childhood Center. Mr. Walmsley?
I'm going to turn it over to Sue Bevins.
Food Service Director, to talk about our recent retiree.
Denise Painter has worked for Richmond Community Schools for the past 18 years. She began her service in 1998 as a lunch aide at Lee Elementary School. She then moved to Food Service Department in 2005, working first in the elementary school kitchen and then moving to the high school kitchen. During her time with Food Service, Denise served over 100,000 lunches to Richmond students. Denise always looked out for students in our district. She took pride in being relatable and took a special interest in students that she considered to be an underdog or those needing special attention and consideration. Students would often bring her gifts or thank her for making a difference in their life. Denise was also very active in the district as a band booster. Denise's son Shane and daughter Corey both graduated from Richmond Community Schools. Denise and her husband Ike have several grandchildren and one great-grandchild that they are very proud of and enjoy spending time with. Denise will be missed by both students and staff in the district. We wish Denise all the best as she embarks on the next phase of her life. Thank you, Denise, for your service to Richmond Community Schools.
On behalf of the Board of Education, we want to thank you so much for your service to our students. We appreciate it in you. That's okay. It's okay. When you do good things for kids, you need to be recognized. Thank you very much.
I can honestly say every day she has a smile on her face, no matter what was going on. It was a pleasure talking to her in the lunchroom and just seeing her interaction with the kids each day. So you will be missed, and you are always welcome back.
Thank you. Excellent. Congratulations. Okay, next.
Last year, the district began what I hope to be a new tradition, focusing on the talented students in our district and sharing that talent with members of our community. And so we had a art contest. I don't know if you can call it an art. We asked for some volunteers, for students to draw some pieces of work that might be included on our district's holiday card that goes out. This, as you can see by the pile next to me, was not an easy choice this year. The offices and Mrs. Tomenko and the business office and I laid them all out, and we're looking at them, and it was a very difficult decision. I could have probably put out 100, 200 different holiday cards. But we chose 16 of them, and these holiday cards, as you're going to see, will start going in the mail next week, and businesses, families, about 8,000 households will receive one of these cards at some point next week or in the beginning of the following week. And on the back of the card, it also has the second semester calendar for parents to display. But tonight I want to honor those 16 individuals and their work for the holiday cards. So when I call your name, if you please come up.
You have to stand up here, Mr. Wall.
Yeah, each of the students has a copy of their holiday card, the photo, as well as on the back of it's the actual holiday card that will go out in the mail for their own keepsake. So the first ones, give me a second here. Caitlin Weiser. I don't know if Caitlin is here tonight. There was a couple. Is Caitlin here? You'll see Caitlin's artwork here. It will be on the green postcards that go out. And on the back of that will be Crystal Creed. Is Crystal here? Come on up, Crystal. There you go, Crystal. Here's your card and then your card. Congratulations. I'll stand right in front. The next set of holiday cards is the, I think it's a purple color. And Katie Furtaw. And on the other side is Jessica Weaver. Give me a second, Jessica. All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
A orangish color card will, some of the households will receive. Alexis Henderson. Paperclip stuff. Congratulations. Oh, go ahead, stand right here. And Bailey White. Our next set is in a blue card going out, and Joseph Baceto. Well, if Joseph's here, we'll give it to Joseph. Emmy Hildreth. Oh, you are here, all right. Make sure I'm looking for which one. Joseph. Congratulations. Joseph, come on up here. And Emmy, give me a second, Emmy. There we go. There you go. Congratulations. There you go, Phil. There's your girl. Zach Blair. Here. And Ashley Stafford. Mary Solden. Amanda Gore. Anna Maxwell. Amanda Green. Taylor Ziri. I'm sure Taylor's here. And Caitlin Nowak. I think what you'll notice on these, they've used a variety of mediums. The detail on some of these are just phenomenal, from watercolors to markers to colored pencils, et cetera. And it gives a wide variety of the quality of work that we have in Richmond Community Schools. And so, like I said, that stack that you have in front of me, it was not easy choosing 16 of these. So I want to thank them, and the public will get their cards in about a week. So if the board would like to come up and shake their hands.
Let's give those students and all their teams. Okay, next is our early childhood learning section.
This time I'd like to turn over to Mr. Koshin and Nathan, and the early childhood staff and students.
All right. Hello, I'm Heidi Napier, Dean of Students. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you to the board for having us. The teachers did head home. Some of them have students and they're younger, they get tired. We want happy parents and students in the morning, so they did head out. Mrs. Miller is here, though, from the early childhood staff. Mrs. Miller, thank you. A few things that we're doing in the Early Childhood Center that we're excited about this year. One of our goals is incorporating the early childhood staff and students into Lee Elementary, making us all feel as one. Sometimes with that wing, it can be separated. So a few things that we're doing is a PBIS program, and that's school-wide, but we're also recognizing those early childhood students as well at the school-wide assembly. So they attend that with the kindergartners. They had pizza with the principal last month, and then if they were at a morning session, then they did donuts. We've also done, for the district-wide parade, they put on a 101 Dalmatian theme, and Mr. Koshin got to be the dog catcher, and they nominated myself as Cruella DeVille, hopefully not by my behavior. So the students had a blast being a part of that, and then some elementary teachers also dressed up and played along with that part, so it was really fun to see it all as a school. There were some tears because they thought Mr. Koshin, the dog catcher, was going to catch their teachers as Dalmatians, so we worked through that. But it's just really been nice to see us all becoming one, as we hope that they'll be Lee students, and then they'll know what to expect, and they'll have some familiar faces. So, thank you.
I'd just like to thank Ms. Napier, Mr. Koshin, as well as the early childhood staff. As I said before, our early childhood program has grown this year. We had to add staff. I encourage you, if you want to come see the program, stop in. I'll be more than happy to take you through. There's a lot of great things going on, and the kids are phenomenal. So if you're ever having a bad day, go to the Early Childhood Center. They make you smile. So thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, for those of you in the audience, I'm sure you're aware we have a group, the Richmond Education Foundation, and it is a group of people that was formed a few years ago to fundraise and to be able to provide grants and scholarships for students and staff. And with the indulgence of the board, we are giving out 3 mini grants to teachers this fall. So we are going to give them out this evening. And we're having a raffle, and we are going to draw our raffle tickets here at the meeting. So I'm going to start by Mr. Walmsley and I are members of the board of the Education Foundation based on our rules here on the school board. Tracy Bartel is a board member. We have some board members sitting out in the audience. We have Julie Kolosinski, who is our president and treasurer. We have Julie Jagoda. Raise your hand, Julie. We have Joanna Schultz. We also, Sue Boyd is our secretary, and Rich Michaels is our vice president. It's a small group of people, but it's a good group of people who are dedicated to try to do some things to enhance and help the educational process at Richmond schools. So I'm glad to be a part of the group with these people because they're good, hardworking people. Going to start with, we have 3 mini grants that we are doing. The first one is being awarded to Stacy Newman and Molly Shack, and it is in the amount of $234.99, and it is called Sight Reading for Success. And what they wrote in their application was this: all music students need to be well-rounded by both playing and singing and having musical literacy. One tool we use in our classrooms is web-based. Currently, we use it as a class, whole group instruction daily to increase our sight reading fluency. Sight reading would be described as knowing or understanding note values, pitches, and solfeggio, which I don't know what that is.
Do re mi.
Do re mi, okay. Could have wrote do re mi, got it, okay. This website can be customized daily and projected onto the smartboard for students to see and perform aloud as a class. Everyday students can see a new exercise. Another way this tool can be used is individually. The website allows purchase of individual student subscriptions. Students would be able to log in and practice daily. The website monitors the progress of each musician and provides a data report to the teacher to adjust the instruction. Since it can be customized for the students, students can progress at their own pace. This will be used by all high school music students. So it's a pretty cool thing, and we're excited to be able to help both of them with this for the music program. I don't believe either one of them were here tonight. They both had prior engagements, but we congratulate them, and we do have a certificate, and we know Mr. Walmsley will make sure that they get them. The next one is being awarded to Jackie Davidson in the amount of $200, and it is entitled Scholastics. Jackie writes, "It is a fairly new experience at Richmond Middle School for our students to enter their work into the prestigious Scholastic Art and Writing Competition. The competition is for 7th through 12th graders and is mainly occupied by high school students. We have in the past had quite a few gold keys, first place, and silver keys, second place, from the middle school, but work that is entered from this building is normally quite limited due to finances. The more work they get into the show helps them get accepted into high school as well. This mini grant will allow more work to be entered into the competition and to purchase a mat cutter specifically for the middle school. Ms. Davidson will be able to show the students how to mat their own work, which will help them once they reach the high school and need to mat their own work. By receiving this mini grant, it will enable Ms. Davidson to represent Richmond Community Schools in the Scholastic Art and Writing Competition in a more unified way, which can really show the county what our art program is all about." So is Jackie here? No, she had a master's, she takes a master's class, and so tonight was class, but we congratulate her, and we're really excited that she's going to be able to do this and to help our middle school students get ready for high school competition. Now, I know Kathy Campos here, so she has to come stand up here in front of everybody. And Kathy's mini grant in the amount of $245 is Taking Flight with Hummingbird Robotics. Last year, Kathy wrote a grant to buy 6 Hummingbird Robotics kits for her 6th grade programming class. She had 19 students last year, and because of her amazing work this year, she has 27, so she needs more kits. Kathy wanted to purchase these kits so she could keep her group numbers down and make it an engaging experience for all students. She plans on building the robots in the spring. With this kit, students will design a robot with lights, motors, sensors, etc., construct it from various materials and program it using the Bird Brain Technology Snap software. So we're very excited to be able to help Kathy with it, and I'm the one that added how great. You didn't write that, just so everybody knows. She did not write that. I added, that was my writing, adding in there. But Kathy has taken advantage of our mini grants before. She does some really great things, and it's always exciting to see her applications and to be able to continue to help her do stuff. So I know that Julie, we have your certificate for you. So congratulations. Keep up the good work. Okay, at this time we're going to do our drawing, and Haley says that she will draw our winning. First place is 500, second place is 250, and third place is 125. So we're going to draw the first winning ticket for the $500.
Draw mine.
This is for $500.
Connie Ryan, okay. Now for $250.
Tom and Chelsea Holt.
Oh, that's my niece. Now for $125.
Laura Mason.
Oh, yay. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Haley.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone who bought our tickets this fundraiser. We're going to do another one at the spring at our in Richmond event, but it's what helps us get the money together to be able to do the mini grants and the scholarships that we give to the graduating seniors. So thank you, and thank you to the Board of Education for letting us do this at the meeting tonight. Okay, next, freshman sports update. Mr. Reinhardt.
Good evening. Unfortunately, I will not be giving away money, but I will be giving you an update on the expenses of the freshman sports. Okay, this fall, our football program, with our head coach salary and our assistant coach salary, retirement FICA, PCMI fees, officials fees, transportation fees, work-off refunds, and the revenue of gate and family passes, pay to participate, and the proceeds from an MHSA football district, we finished with an expense of $1,201.67 that came out of the freshman sports budget. Up there at the top with our freshman volleyball program, and their coaching salaries, PCMI fees, officials, transportation, and our revenue of gate pay to participate, because we did not run a MHSAA district with volleyball. We finished in the positive with $87.87. This is a projected amount, what we will finish with our boys basketball season, our girls basketball season, our freshman baseball season, and we would finish with after the projected costs of $1,826.98 in the freshman budget. With the help of the Boosters Club and the community, we are hoping to raise, this is a projected amount of what we will raise with a fundraiser in the spring, leaving us with $11,831.98.
Mr. Reiner, could you go back to the first sheet, please? I just want to point out to the board, the board started off with $7,500 in it, and after running this year with projected, we'll be down to about $1,800. So that's why Mr. Reiner said just from his liaison with the athletic boosters, we want to get parents to fundraise, or like we did 2 years ago, because otherwise we will not have enough money to run freshman sports going into next school year. So that's why at the end, if we run the same model that we did 2 years ago, we anticipate that it would cover the cost of freshman sports for another 2 years, next year and the following year. But again, it's going to need the help of those parent groups as, whenever the decision was to cut freshman sports to be self-sufficient. I don't remember the year, but it needs to be self-sufficient that angle. So, but otherwise, we are for this year, as Mr. Reinhardt projected, that all freshman sports will be covered based on what's sitting in the account and what we anticipate, just on historical data.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Okay, next, first reading of amendment to board policy.
There are two policies that have come up, and it's really just more for clarification on interpretation. One is dealing with overnight field trips, and one's dealing with advertising. I think in your packet, the first one is advertising in your packet. What the clarification on this one is if it's a semi-permanent or permanent advertising in the district, that still comes to the board. But if it's advertising that's in school district publications, such as newspapers, yearbooks, etc., I'm asking the board to change the policy or clarify the policy that approval goes to the superintendent or designee. In most cases, it's by the building principal. The challenge would be almost impossible to run a newspaper or a yearbook to keep bringing those ads to the board for approval. So that's why that clarification's there. Letter R in the policy talks about if a group is going to advertise, and I'll just use some historical stuff. Sometimes the softball or baseball team will advertise and they put stuff on the fences. Oftentimes, they may not know the advertiser who's going to hold it when it comes to the board for approval. So what we're looking at is conceptually, here's what they would like to do, where it would be held, to make sure that all the logistics are worked out, who's installing them, who's taking them down, all that stuff. And what I'm asking is, sometimes the consideration for those advertisements might need to be in the approval of the superintendent or designee, in this case, the athletic director. The policy already speaks to we only advertise if it's within the mission of the district. And so that would just be a second check. Because if the board didn't approve it and they went out to vendors and asked for, and I'll just say Ken's Country Kitchen to buy a sign on the fence, and it comes to the board, they may not have all of them when they come to the board, all the advertising. It's more of an ongoing process. But what I want the board to understand is we're going to sell, here's the size of the sign, we're going to place it on the fence, or we're going to hang it in the gym, or on the fence on the football field, so you have conceptually what the parameters are for that advertising. But it may be a situation where myself might need to be the final approval for the actual, as long as it follows the board policy that's already in existing. And I think it's letter N already speaks to the superintendent is responsible for screening, or designee is responsible for screening all advertising. So that's what this policy is. It's a clarifying language on some really some issues that have recently come up, as well as when we clarified it to the organization, some other questions followed, particularly the newspaper and yearbook. Can we go through both of them? We're going to ask questions on this one.
So this, what you're saying is this new R, this is anybody that wants to hang something, any kind of an advertisement, no matter where it is in the school district, gets presented to you, and then whether it's going to be allowed to happen, you say yes or no, or is it coming to the board? It says shall be brought?
Yeah, the current policy said that any semi or permanent advertising was supposed to be coming to the board.
Right, and it never has.
And this is one of those that when you look at the policy, I mean, I don't mean to make excuses, but there are thousands, and this is the one that has come up. And so what I'm looking at is let me sit down with the group, get the parameters of what they're trying to do, where they want to hang it. And I'll just, the thing that's come up as we've talked about it, the most recent one is a basketball fundraiser. I got to make sure we're also in Title IX compliance, that I can't just have all the signs be for the boys' basketball. I also have to have a space if the girls' basketball wants to advertise, or if they want to do it together. So those are logistical stuff I have to work out, and then bring that plan to the board saying, here's what it would look like, whether it's permanent, whether it's semi-permanent, who's attaching it, how's it going to be removed, if it gets damaged, et cetera.
All that kind of stuff.
All that stuff, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions on the advertising?
Yeah, one
Yeah.
more.
Just look at
First
R.
word.
We'll do that.
Okay.
The second one, on this one, number 1, deals with field trips, and it's more of a clarification because the current policy says that if a student is away from home, I'm trying to find the actual language, I think it's in the guidelines, away from their home, it falls somewhat under this. But now we have a situation where if we want to do an overnight activity here in school, this policy is allowing that approval to come here, to me, the superintendent, because they're not leaving the district. They're leaving their home for the night, but not leaving the district. And leave the existing policy where if people go out of the district overnight, that still comes to the board like we do and have been doing. So it's more of a clarification that overnight trips in which students remain on the property shall be approved by the superintendent. And this is this has come up because our group wants to do a fundraiser and they stay within our building. So there's some logistics that we're going to need to know, like chaperoning, number of adults to students, et cetera, areas of the building that they would have access to, et cetera. So that's what the field trip and other district-sponsored trips policy encompasses.
Then what about the conversation that was about project graduation, where that falls in?
Project graduation, because they are not their own separate 501c3 organization. Their funds run through the district student activities account. The district does, in essence, regulate that group, even though it's a group of very dedicated parents who plan and do a wonderful job. We do have our hand in it. So once the policy is approved, then I would be meeting with that group to have them come and present what they typically do every year is for their overnight party. I think last year they went to the Warren Civic Center, and that has never come to the board before. Now, if they were their own organization and we had no oversight of that, that would be a different activity then. It would be like the athletic boosters sponsoring a trip to go to the Tiger game and selling tickets. We don't see any of their dollars. That's their own internal account and regulate it. So I will get with that group and talk to them about it. That process. And then you'll see later on that I'm asking for the first and second reading on the same night, just because there are some pressing issues upcoming with some of the organizations, and I want to get them the answer as quickly as possible. And that's all I have.
Next portion of our meeting is public comments. If there's anyone who would like to address the board, they may. Come up to the podium. There should be a card up there if you would like to leave your name and phone number. If you have a question that you want answered, you have 3 minutes. It is not a question and answer session, but you can come up to the board and address us. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Sure.
Hi, my name's Jim Stankwitz, and my question for the board is, my son is not registered with Richmond Community Schools. He is currently enrolled at St. Augustine, and he's interested in attending the International Academy of Macomb, which he would get registered through Richmond Community Schools in order to take their entrance exam and see if he qualifies to attend there. I'm trying to get the information on what the procedure is so that I can have him registered, complete his 8th grade schooling at St. Augustine and then attend in the 9th grade at the IAM. And I'm not really getting a very clear answer. And I'd like to know what that process is, because his tuition's been paid for. He wants to finish with the class he's been in for 9 years now, and have the opportunity that all the other students that are within the district would have to compete for those openings.
Is there a contact that you can?
I don't see one, but I'll write it down and give it to you.
I can spell my name right, so if you just write it down here.
That's
and then I
closer
will
than
call-
most.
I will call you tomorrow.
My cards are every week when they disappear.
That's legible. That's a name.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Moving on, Board of Education Student Representative Report. Haley?
I'll begin my report with the elementary school. Last week, the elementary school had their Christmas concert, and it went very well from what I've heard. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend because I was helping out with the Lion King, but I've heard really good things. 40 out of 45 of their ornaments on their giving tree were taken from parents, families, and friends, so that's really good news. Also, the elementary school is holding a collection for Sandy's kids to collect presents, clothes, anything that those kids might need. And also at the elementary school, they have a Santa shop, and it's open all this week. So the students have the chance to go in there and buy little gifts and trinkets for their family members at home. The middle schoolers, the 7th graders, they completed their voter safety course. The middle school student government is working on putting together a fun Christmas assembly for all of them. The student government is also hosting their annual food drive where they partner up with the Lions Club. The middle school builders club is creating wreaths for Leisure Manor as well as caroling at Leisure Manor. Middle school band and high school band, their concert was last week. I was fortunate enough to attend that, and that was a success for them. It was definitely fun to watch. This week is the choir concert, which is middle school and high school. It's Wednesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Now the high school. The women's chorale is going door-to-door caroling on Thursday, December 22nd during first hour. So we're going classroom door-to-door caroling. Key Club has their giving tree, as you saw when you walked in. The marketing class is selling candy cane grams these next 2 weeks, and those will be delivered by elves, which it's going to be me and Megan Reese. We're going to be the elves. But all of the winter sports are off to a great start. None of them are in too far. I know our girls basketball team is 1-0 right now in the BWAC. NHS is also participating in Sandy's Kids, like the elementary school. And our theater group, we had the opportunity to see the musical Fun Home, I want to say a week and a half ago.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was very good. It was very, very good. Yep. And that concludes my board report.
Thank you, Haley.
Oh, the question. I have my question too.
What's the question?
The question that a student at the high school asks is, what is the reason behind teachers wearing green ribbons?
Well, our teachers unit is currently, their contract is expired. I think it expired the August 31st of this year. Last year, there was a wage and benefit opener, and we were not able to resolve that last year. And so the contract has now since expired. And as part of, and I'm going to speculate here based on being in a former union myself, as a sign of solidarity to let people know that they are without a contract, yet they're still coming and working and giving it 125%. They all wearing, as you see here in the audience, green shirts or green ribbons. And I think there's actually some, I haven't seen a lot of them, but some green signs in cars too, just to let the public know.
Thank you. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Next, superintendent and legislative update.
There was no previous public comment from the last board meeting, which was a month ago. It seems so far ago. So, just some positive things to add on to what Haley had mentioned. Since our last board meeting, the elementary play, American Symbols, was on the 18th and 19th of November. Haley is one of the, I don't know if you're co-directors, assistant director, music director, but there were several of our Richmond students that were directing it and working with the students. It was really good. The kids really put their heart. In fact, Joseph, who was here, was one of the singers in the play and did an outstanding job. Yes.
Like the Constitution.
So it's so and it's just one of the as when the board approved the partnership with the Aud, this is one of those agreements, and the middle school will be coming up in January for their play. Probably about 2 weeks ago, we had sent representatives from Richmond Community Schools, middle school and high school students, along with some teachers, to the second annual Diversity Summit that this year it was held at the Macomb Intermediate School District. Representatives from every school in the county, every high school, every middle school was represented there. It was a great experience. I had the opportunity to be there for about half the day with the students, just to see what they went through and understand the various cultures that our county is made up of, and the backgrounds and diversity of the students. And I think they entered in a lot of really good conversations with students in other parts of the county and so forth. So it was a great activity. I want to read a letter that I receive. Oftentimes we don't typically get some positive stuff from the community, but I do feel this is important. And it was a letter I received from Mrs. Dabalier regarding Mrs. Shack. And I just want to read it for the board to understand, because if you know Mrs. Shack, as well as many teachers, and all of our teachers in the district, they do above and beyond for our kids. But this is most important because she just had a concert. And it says, "Dear Mrs. Shack, good morning. After last night's concert, I feel positively compelled to express my genuine and most sincerest of thank yous for the wonderful concert last night. The Christmas concert you coordinated was incredible and made me so proud of all the talented students who are clearly flourishing under your care, guidance. Thank you kindly for that most amazing experience. You are an amazing teacher." And often, I know Mrs. Shack got it, but oftentimes staff, whether they're teachers or administrators, don't always hear those accolades, and I felt this was important because she truly did an outstanding job, as well as many other teachers. I want to talk to you a little bit about the legislative update. And it's something that needs to be on everybody's radar who's sitting here and in the listening audience. I'll start with, first of all, the state was supposed to issue their top-to-bottom ranking in December. The scorecards, which we all get a colored score. A couple years ago it was the letter grade, then they moved to a colored score. They have now moved that to after in January, when they're going to release that information. So currently on our January meeting, we had a student achievement presentation. That may need to get moved back because we were expecting that information to be public. We can share it internally. They are actually, the MDE is coordinating with the School Reform Office, which is the SRO, which falls under the governor's office. If you recall, the governor did an executive order moving that out of the Michigan Department of Education and moved it over under his guidance. And so what they're going to be looking at is identifying the bottom 5% that they are going to, recently you've heard in the paper, that bottom 5% previously in Macomb County has been on several school districts' lists. And it will be interesting how they calculate that, because it's still very unclear in terms of the formula they use to be consistently applied to all districts, including charter schools. So watch for that. That will be coming in January. as well as the requirement for the AER, which is the annual education report that we have to submit. Last week, there was a push by the governor's office, and it was pulled off the table, and what's being called really a tax shift. And basically, when the state of Michigan collects income tax, off the top, 23% of that goes to the school aid fund. What the governor would like to do is take, when we collect the income tax, we turn around and pay all the refunds first, and then what's left, we take the 23% for the school aid fund, which if he were to, if that was successful, and I believe it will be pushed after the January, another attempt, it will be about $430 million lost revenue to the state aid fund, which equates to about a $300 per pupil cut. And when you multiply $300 times 1,500 students in our district, it's a lot of money. So I can't, I'm asking the parents out there, the people sitting in the audience, students, to write the governor, the legislators, to tell them if we want to be a top 10 in 10 state, you have to invest money. And they keep referencing Massachusetts and some of these other high-performing schools. The big difference between them and us, they put funding in there to support those high-performing schools. So this will come back. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm pretty guaranteeing they're going to come up with something. The other aspect that was pushed was closing the retirement system. And if you think about just in simplistic forms, there's a group of staff members in this state that pay into the retirement system, and those funds then help support the retirees. If you stop the revenue coming in, how are you going to support the retirees and people already in the system? So that will be another one that they will be looked at. They want to go strictly to a no new hires into the system. There is also a bill that seems to have some momentum that there may pass in lame duck that allows the start of school to be returned to local control. Several years ago, there was a law passed that said that schools could not start till after Labor Day. And so there is Senate Bill 567, which allows local districts to decide when they start school, which is a positive, putting control back at the local district. Yeah, I think the only thing in the bill says, it does say the Friday before Labor Day has to be off. There is an ISD opt-out bill that's pending and going through hearings that allows districts to withdraw from intermediate school districts and to be allowed to be their own district, in essence, with no support. With 80% of those ISD funds going that we would normally have given our portion to the ISD would come back to the local districts. 10% would go back to taxpayers, and the remaining 10% would stay with the ISD that a district left. So that's an interesting bill that's out there. There is a bill regarding U.S. citizenship that in order to graduate, you must actually pass the citizenship test for citizenship.
Amendments have happened to that bill since it got.
Yes, it is, yes. House Bill 4136, if anybody's writing that down, if you're interested in that. There's also a bill that is pending, which we don't know where it's going to go, regarding prohibiting union release time, which is going to be interesting. In most districts, the union leadership has some type of release time to address the issues that come up, just that's out there. There is Senate Bill 805 and 806 that allows schools to stock opioid antidotes that has cleared the House committee, but basically if you have someone who has an opioid overdose, it allows us to administer medication to help the student. So, and I think that is it. So there's just a couple days left of lame duck. Lame duck is the time between the election and when the new House and everybody comes on board. So it's always interesting. Several years ago, that's when Right to Work and everything that has happened to education, teachers unions, et cetera, usually happens during lame duck. So, or it has in the last several years. So, that's all I have.
Interesting too, the language about the union release time. The law, as it reads right now, is very, very specific to teachers. Police, fire are exempt. It's specific. So anybody that thinks that a lot of this stuff that's going on is not anti-MEA, anti-NEA, you need to read the law and see what's happening, because it is. That's just the motivation. It's clear. The language in the laws are clear. It's fascinating and horrifying, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Thank you. Next, items of interest from members of the Board of Education. Does anyone have anything?
I guess I kind of wanted to piggyback a little bit on some of the information that you had in regard to, writing our legislators. It's, in this day and age, we have a lot of money that's being taken away from our schools. And, we support Richmond teachers. We want to be able to support them as best as we can. We have the best teachers out there. I think that our kids are taken care of every single day. We have qualified, educated, wonderful, caring individuals until the government decides to help us to fund our schools at a different level. It's tough. Every day we're having monies taken away from us. It's hard to budget it every day. We don't have a treasure trove of money under the table here by any means. I hope that the government will look at us being able to look at the 5% fund balance and make sure that we're not considered an at-risk school should we dip into that money or have to at any point. But I think that we have the best of the best out there. And I stand firmly with our teachers to say that they are the best of the best every day.
I think that's very well said. Very well said, Chris.
Just to follow up, Chris, on that one, and if anybody would like a copy, I'll be more than happy to send it, but when you read the 5% legislation, the discretion of an at-risk district is not objective, it is subjective, and it's at the whim of the governor and the treasurer's office. And so you could look at being considered, one of the variables is declining enrollment, 5% of your fund balance. There's a whole list of variables that if they pick these three, these two, they could declare you as an early warning district. So, I said I'd be more than happy to get anybody a copy of that.
Thanks, Chris. Anybody else? No? I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. There was a fundraiser over the weekend at a local establishment in town that some people put together for Sandy's kids. And I wanted to thank the Mr. Walmsley and board members, and Mrs. Michon was there, some other staff, but we were able to raise $1,400 on Saturday night for Sandy's kids. So it was pretty exciting for a small group of people. It's really cool to be able to do that and know that that money is staying right here in our community for our own kids. So it was fun and very profitable for Sandy's kids. So I was proud to be a part of that movement. Also, I neglected at the beginning of our meeting, so overwhelmed with the preschoolers. Those of you out in the audience know, if you were at our last meeting, Jeff Toit resigned from the board and we had an opening. And on December 3rd was Saturday, we conducted interviews for that opening, and Kyle resigned from the position that he was holding at the time and applied for the opening that was created by Jeff Toit. And through the interview process, we selected Kyle, and we are very glad and very fortunate that Kyle was able to do that and that he was able to continue the good work that he started a few months ago. He's a good board member, and he's going to be a really, really great board member. So we're glad to still have him with us on our team. So I just wanted to let that, because we're always supposed to announce new board members. So even though he's not really new, but he's new to this position. So Kyle, welcome again.
Thanks.
Yes, at our last meeting, if you weren't at our last meeting, Sarah was voted in as our treasurer. So she has moved to, I guess that's now the treasurer's seat, so she's moved over to that side of the table. And to reiterate what Chris has said, as a Board of Education, we do absolutely believe in our teachers, and it is a tough position to be in, where you come and you work every single day, and there are people out there in the world that don't appreciate what you do, and there are people that control things that don't appreciate what it takes to get that job done, whether it's monetarily in your pockets or in your classrooms. And our shirts are just our small way of saying what we feel about Richmond teachers. We mean it, and we value you, and as a board, we wish that things were different with respect to our budget and the way things go, but it's just not right now. And we are doing everything we can to keep things going here at Richmond Schools, and we know that you are doing everything you can to make sure that our kids continue to be some of the best educated in the state. So thank you for that. Anybody else? Okay, moving on, our action items. We have items 13A 1 through 25. Those are all the bylaws that we discussed a month ago. So if there are not any questions or issues that anybody had from a month ago, we could do a motion that encompasses all of those.
I motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve as a second reading the revisions to board bylaw and board policies as presented in the attached documentation.
Support.
I think Kyle said first. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, approval of grades K-1 student chairs.
These are the chairs that are similar to the other districts, but we did not buy them for elementary school at the time for the kindergarten and first grade classroom. So we wanted some of the chairs, as we've been looking at them. When we were eliminating the other chairs, we tried to make sure classrooms had good sets at least. This is part of the bond dollars that were allocated for furniture, and some of those chairs are starting to need to be replaced because, you know, they drop, they crack. I mean, they don't last forever. So these would match the chairs that we have in the upper grades, but would be at a smaller size for kindergarten and first grade.
Okay, there's a sample resolution.
I motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve the purchase of student chairs from Holland Desk and Chair LLC for the amount not to exceed $10,990.40, plus 10% for other costs associated with the purchase, for which funding from the 2013 voter-approved bond is authorized.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
So what's the life expectancy of these chairs?
They are warranted, and I don't have that packet in front of me. Can I get you that info? There is a warranty on them that if anything happens, they automatically replace. I don't know if Anthony's, do you remember? 10 years? There's a 10-year warranty.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll do a roll call. Tracy? Aye. Sarah? Aye. Chris?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
And I vote aye, motion carries. Can we get an update in January on where we're at with the, you know, our list of priorities and all that kind of stuff for the bond? And Tracy, is your microphone even on down there? Because I can barely hear you sitting right here.
I'll just talk louder.
Okay. I'm just knowing if I can't hear you, I bet no one else can hear either. Okay, next, approval of trailer donation.
Mr. Potts, our former robotics, so he's still working with the group advisor, would like to donate a trailer to Richmond Community Schools, very similar to what we accepted the trailer for the band. Though it is the property of Richmond Community Schools and can be used for really for multiple, the trailer is designed and built to hold the robot and the equipment they needed to go to competition. So the value of the trailer is about $2,500. You'll see some scope and drawings of there in terms of the trailer. And so I'm just asking that the board accept the donation, and I work with Mr. Potts to coordinate the transfer of the title.
There's a sample resolution.
I motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve the acceptance of the trailer donated by Robert Potts as presented in the attached documentation.
Second.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Like, how nice is that?
Yeah.
That's great, yeah.
I would just like to say, you know, it's things like this that make it nice to be in a community like Richmond.
Yeah, it sure is. Sure is. Okay, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, annual summer tax resolution.
In the packet, you'll see the resolution, which is referenced in the motion. This is an annual thing we do in December to allow the municipalities to collect our summer tax bills on our behalf.
I motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve the summer tax resolution as presented in the backup documentation.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, approval of shared time agreement with New Haven Community Schools.
New Haven Community Schools has approached Richmond Community Schools about sharing the transportation director. In the backup that I provided you, their transportation director will be leaving to go to Chippewa Valley schools. And in the interim, for this 6-month period, they're requesting that we split the director position between the two school districts. In doing so, while our director would be picking up those duties, we need to have someone on call here, dispatcher, which would be normally held by our director. So I estimated some cost in there, projected cost based on the hours and rates. For this school year, I don't see it as any more cost to us with adding this position than what we currently have budgeted. Where I see the potential for us, if this does work out going into next year, it could potentially provide us a savings in our transportation cost. That, like I said, if both sides work out, that would be the recommendation going forward. I have met with there's Todd Robinson, their superintendent. We've also met with their transportation director and Deb Dobbs, our transportation. We had a meeting, talked about logistics. We believe we can do this year and really look at it and see if there's a way of being much more cost effective in some of the run. Their board would also have to approve this, and they actually have a board meeting scheduled tonight to consider this. So once I know if they're also on board with it, then I will let you guys know, and if you guys approve it, then we'll move forward to begin this January 1st.
There's a sample motion.
I motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and authorize the superintendent to enter into a shared time agreement for transportation director with New Haven Community Schools from January 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2017, as presented in the attached documentation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
So that splits all of her benefit costs, her vacation, all those, including the hourly rate.
Those are all the
everything.
details that we cover. So
Yeah.
they would actually be paying for us a portion, which should actually offset. So, as I said, this current budget, I'm not reducing it because we just need to work out logistics. But going into next year, that's where I see our savings coming. And it could be this year too. But yes, it's splitting benefits, it's splitting FICA retirement, all those costs, healthcare.
And it seems Deb's excited about the potential opportunity? I mean, it seemed like...
Deb, I don't know if adding another district would be exciting, but she and I had a long conversation, and because it's a short time period that we can really see if this is going to work.
Sure.
she was very open to it, and we already have a lot of partnerships with New Haven. When there's short drivers, our
Right,
drivers
yeah.
pick up. We pick up
Exactly.
their kids as we're doing some special education
Right.
runs. So there's already a natural partnership that we do. We already service all their buses.
Right.
With our mechanics here.
Right.
So we've had some, so Deb is very open and very, is there ways we can be much more cost efficient both districts? And maybe some
Got it.
overlap to share costs.
Well, it seems like it is good to try it for a number of
Why not?
months before you dive in long term, you know? I mean, that's a positive and a benefit, yeah.
Okay, I'll do a roll call. Kyle?
Aye.
Sarah? Chris?
Aye.
Tracy? Aye. I vote aye. Motion carries. Next, approval of the board policies for field trips and advertisement that we just talked about earlier. Okay, okay. There's a sample motion.
A motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve as a first and second reading the revisions to board policy 2340 and 9700.01 as presented in the attached documentation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, look for a motion to go into closed session for the purposes of negotiations. Is it Sarah? Yeah. Tracy? It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.